ഹായ് ഓൾ, കഴിഞ്ഞ വീഡിയോ നിങ്ങൾ എല്ലാവരും കണ്ടു എന്ന് വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. എങ്ങനെയാണ് PostgreSQL കമ്പ്യൂട്ടറിൽ ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ് കഴിഞ്ഞ വീഡിയോയിൽ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്തത്. കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ സ്വന്തമായുള്ള ആളുകളൊക്കെ PostgreSQL ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുക. ഈ വീഡിയോയിൽ നമ്മൾ SQL ഒരു ഓവർവ്യൂ ആണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. എന്താണ് SQL, എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് SQL ക്യാരക്ടറിസ്റ്റിക്സ്, എന്തിനാണ് SQL ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്, SQL ഡാറ്റ ടൈപ്സ് എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്, SQL കമാൻഡ്സ് ഏതൊക്കെയാണ്, ഏതൊക്കെ ടൈപ്പ് കമാൻഡ്സ് SQL ഉണ്ട്, ഇത്തരം കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് ഈ വീഡിയോയിലൂടെ നിങ്ങളുമായി പങ്കുവെക്കുന്നത്. Okay, let's begin. What is SQL? The expansion of SQL is structured query language. It is used for storing and managing data in relational database management systems, or RDBMS. It is a standard language for most of the relational database systems. It enables users to create, read, update, and delete relational databases and tables. All the RDBMS like MySQL, Informix, Oracle, MS Access, and SQL Server use SQL as their standard database language. SQL allows users to query the database in a number of ways using English-like statements. That means if you're writing a query in SQL, for example, if you want to create a database in SQL, you're writing the query like this: create database name. You can see the query is somewhat descriptive, like the English language. In other languages, we write statements like if you're using in C, if you want to create a variable, we write int a. That is not at all descriptive like SQL. But in SQL, the statements are more descriptive like our English language. So it is easy to understand what the statement is used for. Next is, what are the rules of SQL, or what are the conventions we have to follow while writing an SQL statement. First of all, SQL query language is not case sensitive. That means you can write the SQL statements in uppercase or in lowercase. We generally follow a convention like write the keywords in uppercase and the user defined names like the table names, database name, all those things in lowercase letters. Statements of SQLs are dependent on text lines. We can use a single SQL statement on one or multiple text lines. Using the SQL statements, you can perform most of the actions in a database. SQL depends on tuple relational calculus and relational algebra. The tuple relational calculus and relational algebra, we have already discussed that in our previous classes. What is relational algebra and what is tuple relational calculus, etc. Next is the working of SQL statements. We have already discussed the structure of a database system. It contains components like SQL query manager and query language processor, DBMS engine, and the actual physical database. Then the SQL query is passed over to the query language processor. Then it optimizes the query, then gives it to the DBMS engine. The file manager and the transaction manager does the remaining job, and it fetches the data from the database. Then the fetched data is given back to the application. So this is how an SQL query works in your computer. Next is, what are the characteristics of SQL? So why we are using SQL? SQL is very easy to learn. SQL is used to access data from relational database management systems. SQL can be used to execute queries against the database. SQL is used to describe the data. SQL is used to define the data in database and manipulate it when needed. SQL can be used to create a database, create a table, you can create a view, etc. And you can even drop a table and drop a database using SQL statements. Then SQL allows users to set permissions on tables, procedures, and views, etc. So these are the some characteristics of SQL. The next is what are the data types available in SQL? As you all know, every column in a relational database systems must have a name and a data type associated with that column. Then SQL supports different types of data like binary, numeric, extract number, string type, and date type, etc. In the remaining slides, we'll discuss details about these different types. We are using PostgreSQL. It supports the following type of data like Boolean, character types, numeric types such as integer and floating point number, then date, time, timestamp and interval type, then UUID type, then array type is there if you want to store some string arrays or numeric arrays. Then you have JSON type for storing JSON data. Then if you want to store a key value pair, you can use a HS store. These are the different types of data you can use in PostgreSQL. Then come back to the slide. The first one is binary type. So binary type has a maximum length of 8000 bytes. It contains a fixed length binary data. Then there is another type is a like var binary. It has a maximum length of 8000 byte, but it contains a variable length binary data. Then image type is the then it has a maximum length of that is a bigger number. Then you can read that number. It contains variable length binary data. Then another type is approximate numeric data type. In that type, the float and real values falls under this type. Then float is used to specify a floating point value, example like 6.2, 2.9, etc. Then real type specifies a single precision floating point number. Then numeric data type like integer, small int, bit, decimal, and numeric is also supported by SQL. I hope you are familiar with these types. Then next is character string data type. It supports a character type. In that type you can store characters up to 8000. Then it contains a fixed length non-Unicode characters. Then other one is varchar. It has a maximum length of 8000 characters. It contains variable length non-Unicode characters. And please take a note of this type varchar because we are using this type in our examples. Then if you want to store more characters, you can use the text type. It is also a variable length non-Unicode character type. Then in some cases, we want to store date and time values in columns. So you can use date type and time type, or you can use a timestamp type. Date type is used to store year, month, and days values, and time type is used to store hour, minute, and second values. Timestamp stores year, month, day, hour, and minute, and the second value. So these are the different data types available in SQL. Next, we are going to discuss about what are SQL commands. Commands are nothing but instructions. It is used to communicate with the database. It is used to perform a specific task, functions, and queries of data, etc. SQL can perform variable tasks like create a table, add data to tables, drop the table, modify the table, set permission for users, etc. using SQL commands. SQL supports different types of commands like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. So these are the list of commands. DDL stands for Data Definition Language. DML stands for Data Manipulation Language. DCL stands for Data Control Language. TCL stands for Transaction Control Language. And finally, DQL stands for Data Query Language. In the coming lessons, we are going to learn details about these commands. What are DDL commands? And what are the different DML commands, different DCL commands, TCL commands, and DQL commands, etc. Thank you.